Well, hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue, and I am from OML Embroidery. And today, whoops, I have the wrong thing up. I was playing. Whoops. Okay, let's start that again. Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue, and I'm from OML Embroidery. And today on Sunset with Sue, we are gonna have some fun. Now, Dawn and I made a little change to the sound, so hopefully it'll be a little bit better this week, but you guys can let us know if that was the problem, and if we solved it, that would be cool. So, everyone can hear me, everyone can see the screen perfectly, it's awesome. Hi, Isabel. Dawn, hi Dawn, hi Lee's, Grand Lee, and of course, Sandy, and who else? Cindy King, yay! That's awesome. So before we get started, I would like to ask everyone if you find value in all of these videos that I do, the best thing you can do to support me back or say thank you back is right from YouTube, hit the share button and share it on Facebook. If you don't want to share it in a group, I know some groups get kind of kooky about it, just share it on your timeline. It still counts. Give it a like, and of course, tell all your embroidery friends about it. And what that does, if there's more people sharing and liking and commenting, then YouTube will start serving up the videos to more people. They'll start recommending them. And that's what we really want, because that's when the channel will take off. So even on your own timeline, it counts. That would be great if everybody could do that for every video. We'd rock it out. So, are you guys ready for today? Are you ready for today? Marcia Gentry. I see some new names, and of course I see our regular names. Hi, all my embroidery friends. We just love this group that we have going on. Everyone is happy. We have wonderful conversations, and I just love it. Oh, excuse me, a little bit dry in here. So we are ready. So let's take a look at what we're going to do here. I think this turned out really well. This part here is applique. And if you didn't know that in this software and Hatch and Embrilliance and probably PE Design, I don't remember offhand, but you can add fabric to your appliques, and it just shows up, and it's really fun to play with. So it only works if you do the built-in kind of one button applique that the digitizing software has. If you are doing it, or in Hatch, for example, you do break apart, then it doesn't recognize it as an applique. So to the system, it would just be a running stitch, a zigzag stitch, and a satin stitch. So if you keep it all at once and let the software do it for you, then you can go ahead, look right here, fabric. You can go ahead and pick your fabric. Alicia, thank you very much. And it really adds to a final look of it. Now, I had a lot of fun making this girl, and I have tons of ideas for you guys. So if there's not any questions, make sure you go into your digitizing software and find out how you do the background fabric. I really like it. I think it's cute. I think it's easier to figure it out, even if you don't have that fabric. It's still kind of cute. So looks Swedish to me, must be the braids. Well, I didn't want to make a girl gnome with a beard. You're a rock star, Sue. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get started. Now, remember that this is all from shapes. I just sat there and look, I pulled down some shapes and made them hat, face, kind of body, nose. They're not perfect circles. They're stretched a little bit, which looks fantastic. And I just constructed piece by piece. And I thought, okay, that looks good. I think the hat's a bit short, so let's pull out the hat. And that's how I continued on. So I love the little flowers on the hat, says Cindy King. Yep, I'll show you how to do those. It's really cute, actually, and it's just, again, a shape. So these are just basic shapes. Every digitizing software will have basic shapes. Julie says, yes, I now see lots of shapes. Thank you, Sue. Yeah, you see the world a little differently. My grandmother was an artist, and this is one of the things that she taught me is don't make your art any more difficult than it has to be. Start with the basics and then, figure it out from there and add touches. So let's get started here. So what I did for the hat, I just stretched it up like I did over here, and we're gonna refine it. So I was working on an adult bib and lost track of time. Well, I'm glad you're here, Jackie. That's awesome. She looks pretty. Sound is breaking up. Let's see, are we dropping? Yes, it is dropping 1 frame. CPU is low. It's the internet or YouTube. Don creeped up. What, Don?
Sorry, that was just worse than normal. Okay.
Well, if it's YouTube, then I can't do anything about it. Marcia Gentry, thank you. The sound has to be with YouTube and the weird bandwidth. If there's a lot of people, recording or streaming, it does. Maybe we need to change the time and try it that way. I mean, I hate to change the norm of everything, but maybe Wednesday at 2, a lot of people are streaming. They cut back a lot with the problems. Yeah, our internet is really good. It looks like it's full force. Definitely not my computer, because I spent a lot of money on a huge computer so we wouldn't have problems. So, all right. So if there's any big problems, just let me know. Isabel, thank you very much. So the triangle started off, just... That was weird. My lights just came on and off already. I just stretched it up just so I have a look and I can get the feel of it. We are going to refine everything that we do, but we're going to do the basics. Now, you can do remove overlaps. You don't want to merge it because there's 2 different colors, or you can just modify it a little bit. Let me move this happy face. And what I wanted, the point that I wanted on this was I wanted the face to line up with the edges of the hat so it didn't look weird. And then all I did, go into node mode, and what you can do really easily is just change this to line and change this to line, add them. You could get a different sized face shape. I think they look cuter, a little rounder, I guess. And so with this software, what I really like is you can still see your original lines. So I can just add a point and pull it back. Doesn't have to be perfect. So remember, you can, move around the face. Even just like this would be cool. And if you do it up here, you can just do it a little bit faster. Now, these ones are lines, right? So we're going to change this one to a line, and then we should be able to, it's hard to see in there. I'm having a hard time seeing. But now it's straight across. So let's hit apply, and then you guys can see. And that's all I did to make the face. Remember to overlap a little bit. Make sure you overlap and make sure the order is correct. So we want the face to stitch out first and then the hat. So the hat covers the edges of the face. Now there's a lot more things we can do with the hat, but Looks easier and faster than the knife. Yep, just node mode is your friend. It's a great place to be. That sounds like a t-shirt too. Ha ha ha. Now, all I did here, I wanted to add more things to her face. Now, you could do little eyes looking down, but generally with gnomes, the hat covers everything. Now, this is just an oval, nothing fancy. And look here, I'm going to show you how to make cute lips. We could do all sorts of different mouths. So, start off, look, like this. And it's just two circles and an oval. It almost looks like a frog face. I like that frog face. Why not? And I merged them. So all I did was this and right click, and we're going to go to shaping, and it's a weld in this software. So it still looks like a frog, but we have to do a few adjustments. See how this worked out, that there's, I'm going to zoom right in so we can fiddle with it. It doesn't quite look like lips, perhaps, but not really. And also, remember the size. She needs some lashes peeking down. We can do that. We'll do that after. Remind me. Remember the size that you're doing. So always check on your size. Or an easier way of doing it is set up your grid so then you know however many squares it is, the size it is. Because it is detail. So small, you have to have less detail. Larger, you can have more detail. So back into node mode. Node mode is your friend. And I just pulled one out a little bit to have, you know, kind of a different look. You can play around with it and see, make it pointed out like that, or you can make it more this way. It's still gonna look good, so just a little more round, I guess. That would be one way of doing it. Hit apply. Now it looks kind of wonky up close, but it's pretty small, so you could fiddle around and make it smoother, but it still looks good when you pull it out. This looks better though, I thought. Now there's a lot of ways to make the lips. You don't have to do big Marilyn Monroe lips with red lipstick. I thought it looked really cute though, but yeah, you can play around with it. The other thing you can do, if you just want a happy smile to go with Norman, is pull out kind of like this, and then we're going to go back into node mode because node mode is your friend. And we're going to make a couple changes that are really easy. We're going to change this to line and change this to line, and this one should also be line, and then you can just bring it down. Look at that, and you can make it smile even more if you wanted. That's super easy to do, and you know, he's kind of happy, so you could play around with that as well. Let's convert this to complex fill. And I'm going to change the angle on it because it's, you know, pretty darn small. So let's try it kind of this way and hit apply. And that looks a little bit better. You could also do satin stitches. Let me do a Control-Z there and put the angle. Oh, it didn't move it back. Oh well. I'll move it back. Up and down and hit apply, of course. And that looks better already. Whoops, here we go. There we go. Select it, convert to satin, and you'd have to play around with angles on that one. So I'm going to do Control-Z there, and this looks good enough. So you could do expressions on the gnome face. Let's see. So it could be happy. You could turn it a little bit, and she could be kind of, you know, cheesy, snarky. Love the ideas about the eyelashes. Don't the eyelashes flow when we're doing stuff like this? Will you be putting one in the files for those of us that can't do this? And the one from last week. Yeah, the testers did the one from last week. I haven't had a chance to do anything else with it, so I'll figure something out for everyone. So next is, I mean, you can have her just like this. You know it's a girl because of the lips, but Would you increase the underlay on the mouth and the nose? Actually, the opposite would be true, Cindy. I would reduce or add no underlay to the nose and mouth because the face in the background is the underlay. And what you'd be doing if you added underlay to everything, you'd be making it thicker than what you need to. So underlay is meant to be at the fabric level of your layers. And if you're doing a layer on a layer, you just don't need it. It'll save you some stitches, and it'll look better. It'll absolutely look better. The no, it wouldn't show through. No, depending on, how small you're doing something. If you have this in satin stitches, it might. Or if you have maybe dark and light, you might want to do a little bit of underlay. But honestly, on something this small, the underlay isn't going to be a whole lot. Even on the hat, look, it's not a whole lot. So let's look at the nose. It's just a couple lines back and forth. And that's not going to make any difference on it. That's probably why I just left it, because there wasn't a whole lot. So I wouldn't even worry about it. If you're doing a large one, then you might need to cover it up. But just remember, let's look at the size of this nose. It's 1/2 inch. So we're talking pretty small, pretty small. So I wouldn't worry about it. So hair, now you can do the hair behind the face, and you can do, kind of like what we did for the beard. Did I just see Lila in here? Hi, Lila. You can, do some wacky hair if you wanted, like the beard, kind of all zigzaggy and funny. Or you can do a braid and you can play around with it. So I thought about it a little bit, and I thought the easiest way to do a braid would be with ovals. And I just thought that looked like the braid better. Now, I did my braid straight down. I'll show you guys in a minute how to do the bottom part. You could, if you're doing it large enough, you could put like a red bow here. That would be cute. Even just a running stitch or back stitch bow, I think that would look really cute. So all I did was, I think we'll do duplicate here, and I just kind of placed some down. And then for this one, to give it the look, it's easier than you think because we're working with shapes. I just drew it down to look like the ends of the hair, but I rounded it off a little better. Isn't that cool? So easy to do, just like that. Now, I put my hair up and down, and I'm not merging them, but you probably could. I just wanted them to stitch out separately. However, you make the start and stop point so it'll stitch out at once anyways. But you don't have to have the braids going down. You could have a little bit of fun with this, and you could do bigger bows if you wanted. So I'm going to turn it sideways a little bit, and this is either just a little bit forward or behind. And you could have, what was it, Pippi Longstocking? I don't know if anyone remembers that, or if I'm dating myself there. She had really wonky hair ponytails or braids. But I thought this would be kind of funny. And then take this, maybe not in such a wild curve. Maybe that's a little too funny there. But you don't have to have it up and down for sure. So we could do something like that. I thought they were cute going down, and I wanted to, make sure it showed as braids, I guess. So you could do something like that. Of course, take a little more time for your placement. You could, I just thought it'd be really, really cute if her braids were sticking out like that. Wouldn't that be cute? And this would again cover over, and we'll do some eyelashes after. Pippi Longstromp, that's a hard word for me to say, in Norwegian. Okay, so everyone does know what I'm talking about. That's awesome. So all I did with these circles, now you can do two things depending on your size. If you have it really big, then you're pretty much stuck to using fill stitches. And because the satin stitches would split too much. And we don't really want that. But if you're making it small, let's just double check again. That's really small. You can use satin stitches, and I think it would make the braid look really pretty. So you can play around with it. You could make the braid as long as you want. The other thing that I played around with and I was unsure of what I liked best is that you can put the braid behind the head, and don't worry about this little overlap, or in front, and I couldn't decide which one I liked best. I have everything grouped nicely so we can see wonky hair just quickly like that. It's weird, but you know what? It's your gnome, girl, and I just give you guys the ideas. You can, run with it. So I wasn't sure if I liked forward or behind. I'm still on the fence about it because I think that looks like a braid, like behind her ear sort of thing. Most people don't wear their braids on their cheeks, so I was like, yeah, so you can have fun with the braids and the hair and play around. You could move the hat up a bit if you wanted, and you could do a little bit more eyes with big eyelashes. You could do either one, any of those, and I think it would look good. Now, remember, this is just basics. We're going to tweak everything. It's a good idea to get the basics down and then tweak it up. So moving on. So braids, fun. Let me show you guys how to do a little bow in running stitches. It's just going to be one, because remember this is small, and this is going to be a curve, and this one will be straight, and then we're going to cross up here, and I want it like this, and this one will be a curve, and then this one will be straight, and then I am going to go back and forth here just to make it a little thicker. Okay, and then I'm just going to run it down, kind of cute wise. That looks good. And I'm just mixing my straight and curve lines here and then here. You don't have to have it going the opposite way, something like that, and end there. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Now I know this looks really weird. I want to make one adjustment if you're making bows, and I would move it up. Move this part. I grabbed the exact right node. See? Node mode is your friend. And hit apply, and I think that looks a little bit better. And you can fiddle around with it. That's not the greatest bow I have ever done in my life, but when we make it a little bit smaller and we turn it red and we put it here, I do believe that that's cute. Now, again, it kind of looks wonky because it's not curved anymore, and that's because I made it smaller. I wouldn't use backstitch. In fact, I would probably make this a little bit bigger because when you look at it, when you stitch it, it's going to be kind of weird. So when you move back, see, you don't even need these long pieces. I actually don't really like them. But you can do a braid in it. You could also do like a twist. I remember doing that when I was a kid, putting like a ribbon in your hair and braiding the ribbon. You could do something like that. You could put little flowers at each junction. Again, remember your size. And make it look all your own. It's your gnome. So that one's okay. And again, we're just moving on. So once you've got the face and the hair how you want it, and do play around with it because there's so many you'd be surprised how many hairstyles that you can get with circles and then the end like this. Again, it's basic, but you guys all knew what it was, right? So yeah, you could put hair ribbons, you could put little flowers, you could have like crazy hair like the guy's beard. I think if you copied it over and put it behind and removed some stitches, it would be great. Now, the body was a bit of a quandary for me because I wanted an applique, so it can't be too small, and I didn't want it to be like a weird shape because applique is best, you know, when it's a easier shape to cut. Someone just put Julie said blushing cheeks. Let's do that because that's a good idea. I can't remember if I put that on my final or not. And what I do for that is remember our size because I'm working kind of small here. So just another small circle, or you could even just take the nose and copy and paste. And I'm going to do it in, let's see if we can do convert to satin. And that will look okay, and we're going to make it a light pink. See how easy that is to just try different things? And look, might have to make that a bit bigger. Yeah, that's kind of cute. I kind of like that. I think mine would have to be bigger to incorporate that. But I think the eye, let's put it down a little bit. So there we go, blushing cheeks. I think it would be cute, I think. So I just settled on an easy peasy lemon squeezy body. And with this body shape, you can decorate the body. You could add arms. Now, how would you do arms? You could add arms, like one arm up waving. You could add them in here just by using rectangles and circles. So this is another thing. I decided on no arms, but it's something you can easily do. So we're going to do a rectangle, and then we're going to do a circle sort of thing. You don't have to have detail. Remember your size. And I kind of thought there's an arm. So we're going to convert to complex fill, and this one as well, convert to complex fill. And we're going to make the hand the same color as the face, whatever you choose to do. And what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, but I'm going to group it so we can play around with it a bit more, and then we'll get back to the body shape. So you could do two arms like this, make it fit better, but you could do two arms kind of like crossed in the front, you know. Lila, thank you very much. You could do the arm, you could do like a little running stitch design on it. You could turn this arm around. Of course, you have to have two, but I'm just showing you guys with one. Just throwing ideas out at you guys. She could be like this, waving. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. She could be holding a flower. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And because of the size that I'm doing, I think this is the perfect way of doing it because you don't want to do like too many details. If you're trying to do a hand with fingers, it's not going to work unless you do a larger one. So I just thought this was an easy way of doing arms. And I thought, well, that would be really cute this way. Copy and paste, Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to spin this one around. Now, obviously, you have to make adjustments to it. We can put our arms down there. So the idea would be even like this. Let's see, I'll just place it on top. You would have to, you know, ungroup it and delete one. But this is what I was thinking. Now, obviously, too, you got to make these curves. I think a row of these on a fabric strip, then added on a little blanket would be beautiful. Yes, that would be beautiful. You know, the other thing you could do is turn the arm around, kind of like this, and do another one so that they're holding hands. And you could do Norma and Norman T. Gnome, and Norma, I don't know what her middle name is, but you could do that, and they could be, boy, girl, holding hands, and that could be like a continual border for it. So there's a lot of things you can do with, a rectangle and a circle. A lot of things they could be doing or holding, or anything like that. I'm going to put this back. Now, again, if you're doing it this way, you need to ungroup and remove one of the hands. You don't want them, to stitch over like that. But you could also change the hair color. It doesn't have to be yellow. You can just as easily do it in brown like this. I think that is literally just as cute. You could do orange for the gingers out there. That's for you, Dawn. But we could be modern, and one of my daughters has turquoise hair, so you could do that. You could do a whole family. So you could make one, and if your kids are anything like my kids, they look exactly like me, so I would change their hairstyle and make it, I'd have to be smaller because both my kids are bigger than I am. They're taller, but shh, we're not going to talk about it. So, can you guys guess how I did the body? I just made a big oval. You can adjust the size later. And node mode, and I just added a few points. Easy enough. So let's do this. Add point, and we need it to be a line, and add point, and we need it to be a line. However, you don't have to have it as a line. You can play around with it. And then, whoops, what did I do there? Oh, I done made a mess. Okay, so the easiest way to get out of this mess is to just go back a couple, and see, I wasn't exactly on, so I added a line. So just go back and, get your grid out to make sure this is even. Let's pull this guy a little bit. So using your Bezier curves, you could make a different shape for the body. It doesn't have to be round like this. You can get as technical as you want about it. Remember that these are just the basics. So that's how I made the body. And I thought there's so many things you could do with the body. You could, let's try a couple things. You could dress her very nicely. So we're going to put it to complex fill, and then we're going to copy and paste, and I'm going to change the second layer to a motif stitch or something like that. Or how about cross stitch even? You could do that. So let's try motif stitch, and we're going to do it in a different color because we want it to show up. Did that not work? Oh, we got so many layers. There we go. We want the purple one. I wasn't selecting it properly. That's why it did that. Oh no, I didn't hit apply because I'm not used to apply. But look, you could make a little outfit for her. How cute is that? And you could make her wearing shirt and pants by just splitting this and have two decorations. Of course, again, remember your size. You can't put motif stitches in something that's really, really small because they're not going to show up. I'm going to do a different color, maybe green, red and green. Hey, Christmas! We could make a Christmas gnome. So let me pick a different motif, and remember to hit apply this time. But see how cute that is? You could come up with a lot of different things. You could do an apron. Now, how would you do an apron still sticking with the things that we've got? Let's see. I like that. I would actually, let me go back. Control Z. I would take this and this. but you can take the same shape, for example, like this. Depending on what kind of apron you want, it's something like this, but make it smaller. Just something, just as a place to start. And I'm Karina, thank you. Sorry I'm late. We're glad you're here. You were watching Angela Wolf, weren't you? You can. You're allowed to. I'm glad you enjoy it. So something like this, even for an apron, it's not quite the right shape, but you know what? There's different shaped aprons. It looks really strange with the motif stitches, but you know what I mean. You guys know I can convert it, I guess, if to make it look easier. Standard. There we go. And then all you would have to do is make the ties. How would we do that? Rectangles, of course. Always rectangles. So I'll just look 2 seconds. You guys have an idea. 2 seconds. There it is. Now, obviously, you're going to have to tweak this a little bit, but I think an apron was a great idea. I'll just do one side of it, convert to. See how fast it can go? It's amazing. Now, again, tweak. You can't just leave it like, well, you could, but I wouldn't suggest leaving it like that. So there's an apron. Good enough. Still shapes, still ideas. I am really fond of the arms like this or holding hands with each other. I think that's really, really cute. So this is what we have so far. Now, we need some shoes. I don't have hands on this one. But we need some feet or some shoes. Now, you can go simple and just do an oval and then kind of maybe tuck them under. She has monstrous feet, this one. Just tuck them under. They look good behind. They look good over. See, I haven't decorated her dress or anything at all. I just left it. The other thing you could do is get really fancy schmancy and go into node mode and add like a curly part to it or a pointy part, having them swirl around. You just have to play around with it. Sandy's got to go. Okay, bye, Sandy. We'll see you on Saturday and we'll see you in the group for sure. But you can change the shape to whatever you want. It does not have to be just ovals. You could do, somebody mentioned clogs. You could do that easily enough. Just the general shape of it. So you'd be taking the oval and putting, you know, little designs on it and changing the shape. So that part's up to you. You can literally do what you want for that. So I'm going to show you here how it goes together. These are all of, for my simple girl here, Norma's a very a simple character, I guess. This one is. You got to start somewhere. But I did tweak it a little bit. I spent a little bit more time, but this is how the shapes are going along, and you can see they're all basic shapes. There is nothing fancy about it. I really like it though, and this is where I'm introducing the flower. Now, what I decided to do, I played around with colors. I played around with a lot of things. And look, I added a couple nodes to add a little more interest to her hat. So it just doesn't, look like, oh, you just made a triangle. And I changed some of the colors and I converted to applique so I could play around with the fabric. Now this is group, so I'm going to ungroup it. And for this software, and I think most other digitizing software, this is all I did. Convert to applique. And it's applique. Obviously it's in the wrong order, but these aren't stitching anyways. So this is all-in-one applique, and you can see it says it right here, and it has this little applique design on it. Now if you don't want satin stitches, then you can change it to, say, E-stitch and click apply. There's a lot of options, and this goes with different softwares as well. And you have to leave it like this. I know it looks weird with the E-stitches, but that'll make it work properly. Go to the next one, or down below you'll find it, and it fabric. And you can play around with the fabric. I just want to show you guys this because it's really fun. Let me pick something with a print just for this. And you can see how that fits in. That's actually kind of cute. But you can change the scale and almost fussy cut it. So I'm just moving it back and forth. You can get it to the size that you want or you have. And global origin, what happens when we take that off? Oh, it just zooms in. So you could almost fussy cut for it, which I thought was cool. Offset, so you can move it back and forth, and then up and down. So it's just kind of fun way to do it. Oh, look, you can rotate the fabric too. So you can just have a really good, idea of what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna remove that because it's kind of weird. So you can play around with the fabric and you can see, basically how it's gonna look. Giving her a proper moo-moo. It kind of is. Shush. Shush, Misha. But you could add, different designs over it as well. You could put her arms over it. Obviously, they have to stitch out. Let's put a solid color so we can play a little bit. There we go. Nice bright orange. If you make it large enough, you could also do the hat in applique, which would be really cute. But you don't have to have it just plain like this. You could do, a line separating the top and the bottom. You could do a bow here. You can make it, if you want her to have a moo-moo, and you can make a moo-moo. If you want it to just stitch out, you can make it just stitch out. My mama called them house dresses, and they are super comfy. Yeah, night dress, something like that. They're hard to find, actually. I wanted a old-fashioned kind of cotton night dress, and I couldn't find anything, so it kind of sucks. So let's talk about more detail work. We did the bow. We did her outfit. You can also add motif stitches over your applique. Don't know if you guys have ever done that. You could also add some organza or anything like that. And okay, Dawn, can you make a note? It says the stream's current bit rate is higher than the recommended bit rate. That might have something to do with it, and we'll look at that after. Open widget. I don't want to mess everything up. Yeah, stream is healthy, and then we've had a couple of glitches. So my internet's too good? I don't know. Sue, you have a sewing machine. You can make your very own night dress. Yeah, but then I'd have to sew. If I can't get my embroidery machine to sew. I shouldn't say that. I just always joked about that. They're like, did you sew this? I'm like, no. I programmed my embroidery machine to do everything for me. But I'm learning how to sew. I'm figuring it out. Also, I'd like to point out that fabric in Canada is stupid, so I'd be better off to just buy one for $20 Canadian than pay, $20 a yard for fabric. It's just insane here. So yeah, someone suggested Mylar. Alicia said Mylar. Yeah, why not? Put organza over the applique fabric. Why not? So with the flowers, I just thought she needed something more on her hat. And all I did in this software is, look, I just did a flower. And I filled it with stitches. And depending on how small you're going, oh, Cindy King, I love the fabric you found at the thrift store on your newest blog. Yeah, wasn't that amazing? I was so totally surprised when we went We went there, we did a series, and I'm going to repost it about bad embroidery and examples. And in the thrift store, we found more than enough bad examples, and we did a series on it. It is kind of fun. I'll put them up again. The videos will be on the YouTube channel, and they're kind of fun. But I did some blogs too. I was really surprised at the fabric. I'm like, wow, wow. It's amazing that, for your, say, example, test fabric, you can buy a t-shirt for 50 cents and use it. I remember you saying you don't really sew, but you're also doing so much more. Just look at your quilting. Yeah, I'm learning sewing. I've actually been working very hard at learning sewing so I can put my quilt blocks together better. And it's just practice, practice, practice. McDreamy is pretty fancy, schmancy machine, and he helps out a lot. And I just love him for the sewing. It's decent. I wish I had a big table thing for it, but anyways, McDreamy is awesome, and I am learning it. Learn something new every day. I try to sew in amongst my heavy schedule. I try to sew every day just to keep up the practice. So yeah, I'll be eventually making some stuff. I have an AccuQuilt system, and that's what I'm working on. So great blog, enjoyed reading it. Yay, because I love writing, so that's awesome. All right, so the flower with a circle in the middle, you can pick your colors, you can pick your stitches. Mine are small, so I am limited. You don't want a whole bunch of detail. I'm going to make it satin, and I'm going to make it a different color, and then I just put them together, and you can group it. And I just kind of placed a bigger one on the hat where I made the curve. You could also do a curly hat like we did Norman, or you could make it go this way so it's a little more balanced out. So any shape. I just kind of left hers plain, and I played around with different colors. So I think I'm gonna grab an arm. I know that sounds funny, doesn't it? I'm going to grab an arm, and I'm going to move it over to my finished gal, and it's not going to be in the right place. Yeah, I don't want to break apart anything. So, okay, that needs to be a bit bigger maybe. And the placement is kind of weird. This kind of reminds me, this arm kind of reminds me a little bit of South Park for some reason. It's just kind of that kind of character. So, of course, we want it behind, right? We don't want it, over her hair particularly, although it would make kind of sense. I like the way her braids are sitting. Yeah, I tweaked it and I changed them to satin stitches, and I think that looks just as good. And I decided to put them in front. And I thought that looked okay like that. The reason, by the way, why I'm having so many difficulties usually selecting stuff is because I have everything on one screen, and it's, to find the one artwork in all this is a little bit crazy. I know there's circles or whatever, but they're also everywhere. So I just do the best I can. So let's ungroup this. And let's make, wrong, see, I just blatantly missed that. Let's make it orange. And I think that's really cute. We could also make it white. So, gotta select it before you pick the color. There we go. Something like that, and underneath, or not, whatever you want. Or we could just move it like this, and she could be waving at you guys because she's excited about getting created. And she's waiting for Norman to take her away from it. Now, of course, if you're doing it like this, you need to stitch the arm out first. So it's underneath this little part here. Can you see that? This little part here is underneath, and that'll make it look better. But look at how cute that is with her just waving or something. Lots on your screen. Yeah, I know. I just find it easier to show you guys this way. I have everything as I'm creating it. I just copy and paste and move to the next one and whatever. Yeah, I miss stuff. Everyone does. So let's copy and let's paste and let's do a flip in there as well. And she's gonna be cheering or something. I don't know. You can make up your own story. I don't know. I guess a lot of people do it, that you make up a story to go with your digitizing. That's just how my brain works, and I find it's a lot of fun. So Norma is waiting for Norman, and they're gonna have fun. So maybe she could be holding the flower like this. And oops, I forgot a piece of the flower. Good Lord. See, there's so many things you can do. How cute is that? Just by adding, flowers to it. Oh, her arms are uneven. You're going to want to fix that, I think. But, you can make the braids shorter. You can make the braids longer. It's even cute with shorter braids. But get out your grid and your guidelines to make everything even. But how cute is that? How cute is that? I really like her. And I think, adding even more detail will be awesome. See, here she is in different colors. And if you noticed on the cover pictures of everything, cheer points off for uneven arms. Cindy, am I in detention for uneven arms? Changing the color changes the whole thing. So if you noticed at the bottom, they're all in a row with different colors. And I think that would be really cute on anything. Like, a blanket, like Cindy said, anything like that. So I know you're just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time because you're giving me a hard time. She can have uneven arms. It's a gnome-ish. It's a disabled gnome. See, you're making fun of a disabled gnome. There we go. Right back at you. That took me a minute, but hey. You guys can give me a hard time. I much prefer it if you give Don a hard time, but he's not. Well, he's here, but he's not talking as much as I am. So isn't that cute? What about a rainbow? That would be easy to make. What about a rainbow? I think she's even now. Let me pull out a guideline. Yep, her armpits are even. Dawn says no. What do you mean no? So there's so many things you could do. Rainbow, you could do, make a scene and add your garden parts to it. You could put background with some of your flowers growing or holding hands. I actually really like that idea of holding hands. You could put a bend in her elbow. It doesn't have to be simple. You could make it so her arm is bending up. Anything like that. Just remember your sizes and your details. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. There's so many possibilities for these shapes and designs, and you can make them really cute. I loved changing the colors on them, like the orange one and then the red one, and I think I made a green one as well. I just think that makes all the difference. I didn't put arms on any of mine, but I think it's cute as well without arms. So you can easily go from just your basics, just simple. She looks good like that. She's plain and simple. And you can fancy it up. So either or good. You might, as you're building your Norma gnome, you might come up with different ideas as you go along. That's pretty much how I roll. And it's kind of fun. Sound went bad again. I'm looking. Yep, it's saying the same thing. Okay. Well, at least we know what we're working on there. So it has something to do with the bit rate of the stream. So now we have something to go on, and it should be better healthy. Excellent connection. So there's something that's going in and out with the sound. I still have the feeling it's YouTube, but we'll figure out something. So I really enjoyed I really enjoyed making these gnomes. I think it was really fun. Don came upstairs from his office and said, "Oh, you're making a girl gnome. Is that ever cute?" And I thought, I guess it is. It kind of is. It goes well with Norman. You can put them together. Must be 5G. It is terrible. No, our internet is, what is it, Don? It's huge. 1500? 1500? I don't know. It's big. It's 5. It's the highest you can get. So we can still get the lesson even with sound issues. Yeah, we'll keep working on it. I don't know if we're going to find any answer. If it's YouTube, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. But maybe we can regulate the internet so it's smooth. Yeah, 1500 megabytes per second. So way better than 5. It's awesome. 5. Yeah. It's awesome. So, okay, you guys, Saturday, we are doing a Be Happy, and it is going to be really cute. So, in the meantime, work on Norma and put her with Norman, maybe, and some flowers, and stitch it out with the applique, and we'll keep going on these. So Jackie says, gnomes are so much fun. Thank you for showing us how to use shapes for these. You can use shapes for everything. I hope people are getting it in their heads. You can create your own. You don't have to copy other people. So, yeah, keep going, you guys. Thank you for liking and sharing. Remember, that is the best way to support us. Do it right from YouTube while you're there or while you're listening, and share on your own timeline. It all counts, and we can make YouTube work for us and get bigger and bigger. And the bigger we get, the more I'll do. So, which will be awesome.
Yay.
Yeah, Don's here. You creep. For a big man, he's really creepy. I didn't know you came up.
I wasn't even that quiet coming up.
Oh, scared the crap out of me.
Sorry.
Well, thank you for all your support, Pat. Thank you for everything, you guys. I can't do it without you. And I hope everyone's learning and having fun. Tomorrow, Dime Door? No, I think the Dime Door is going to be released next week, Cindy, or a week off. That's okay. I was sure today was Thursday this morning. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.